Greetings, everybody! Have you ever asked yourself what the maximum Magicka is that you can get in ESO? Well, we're going to answer that today. And for that, I put together just a little showcase build. Quick disclaimer, this is not a build that you can play or should play, neither in PvP nor in PvE. Just take this as kind of a guide to how you can improve and maximize your maximum Magicka. So let's jump right in. What you want to do first is, of course, you want to be a high elf, because high elf gets 2k Magicka in their passives. That's a big deal. That's the most that you can get as far as races go. So you definitely want to be that. You can do this on a sorcerer or a nightblade. Nightblade could potentially even be a little bit better, because a nightblade doesn't have to double bar pets to achieve this. So, you know, if you fancy playing a nightblade, you can do this, of course. The next thing, of course, you want to do is put all your points in Magicka. No questions asked, right? The next thing, the Mage Mundus. Of course, we're stacking the Magicka. Of course, you want the Mage Mundus. This is the food that you want to use is also the next and really important part. You want to use the first whole fruit and cheese plate if you really want to max it out. This is not a good food though, because it only gives one resource, but a lot of it. So if you really want to max it out, this is the way to go. And yeah, let's move on to the sets here. Of course, we're running Necropotence. When you have a pet active, you get a big chunk of extra Magicka on top of the already big chunk of Magicka that you get without a pet. So that's a really nice one. The next one you want to run is the Imperial Physique. When you're in IC, of course, this only works in Imperial City, not outside. If you're outside of Imperial City, the Crafty Alfique is the way to go for you. You want to be Alfiquing it up. That's the best set outside of the Imperial Physique. Imperial Physique is going to give you roughly like 2k more Magicka, so it's not a big deal, but yeah. So keep that in mind. If you want to play a build like that in IC, of course, you go for the Imperial Physique. Outside, Crafty Elfie. Imperial Physique, of course, has the advantage that you also get Magicka, that you get health, Magicka, and stamina, and a little bit of like weapon and spell damage and some resources. So well-rounded, but you know, the downside is you need the 4 times Telvar Stone multiplier, which you can get when you have 10k stones on you. So you have to carry around a lot of stones. You might not want to do this as a solo player, maybe more in the group, just to be a little more safe so that you don't lose your stones. But yeah, that is basically the two powerhouse Magicka powerhouse sets that you want to run to really max it out. And of course, Dama House Helm and Infernal Guardian Arm Cops. There's a couple different monster sets that you can run that have a max Magicka one piece. Infernal Guardian is just one of them. Pick the one that you have. When it comes to the Dama House, I think Dama House is, of course, better than anything else, because you get the stamina as well together with the Magicka. So that's something that, you know, you can't say no to, especially running the Imperial Physique that already gives you some stamina. That helps stack the stats a little more. Regarding the enchants, of course, you want to run max Magicka on all the pieces. The best setup to achieve the most Magicka is, of course, running Infused on the big pieces and Divines on the small pieces. The jewelry, of course, should be Arcane. You should run Sword on board. The sword is not important, but the board is important, because the shield counts as another armor piece, which can be infused and which can have a max Magicka enchant on it. So this is another way of just maximizing the amount of max Magicka that you can get. The traits on the weapon, irrelevant. The enchants on the rings, also irrelevant. Put on whatever you want, but the important part, like I said, is infused with Magicka and divines with Magicka. Let's move on to the skills here. As you see, we have a really weird setup, and that's why I say you can't play this. this is purely to just maximize the Magicka that we have on this build. Of course, we're running the Summon Twilight because we need the pet for the Necropotence. The rest are basically just skills that passively increase your Magicka. The first one here that I want to mention is Bound Aegis, which gives you 8% max Magicka just for being slotted. Really, really nice. The next one is Inner Light, which gives you 5% for being slotted, plus another 2% from the Mage's Guild passives, from the Magicka controller here. 2% just for having a Magicka Mage's Guild skill on. So this is 7%, this is 8%, 15, right? And then, of course, this is a Mage's Guild skill, this one, and this one too. So this is another 6% on top of that, just for having them slotted. Like I said, you know, pick and choose whatever you need on the build, whatever you want on the build. Don't go for this setup because you cannot play this. You cannot play this. I cannot stress this enough. So this gets us up to 70.6k Magicka, which is really a lot. It really is. But of course, there's a way to increase this even further if you want, and that would be to become a vampire. And as a vampire, as you can see, we're sitting at 84.7k Magicka. And of course, health and stamina also look pretty decent, I gotta say. So if you want to go for a build like that, you know, maybe reduce the max Magicka a little bit, make sure you have decent skills on, and make sure you just have a build that functions well. And then you can, you know, you can probably play a build like this with well in the 70k Magicka range, and you know, it's still being a decent build. So keep that in mind. The only thing that you could do to increase the Magicka even further would be to be an Emperor, but I have no way of testing how much that would be. You'd be well over 100k, probably well over 120k max Magicka, so that's a lot. So should you ever go and become an Emperor, I recommend maybe going for a max stamina or max Magicka kind of build, because that's what, you know, what an Emperor excels at. They get a lot of bonus to their base stats, so I think that would be, you know, the wise choice here. If you should play a max Magicka Emperor build, send me a video. I want to see that. That sounds very interesting. And that's about it, guys. You know, that's the maximum Magicka that I could squeeze out. I hope you liked it. Like I said, don't play this build. Just pick and choose whatever you want to put on your build to maximize the amount of Magicka that you can run. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting, and I'll be back with another video soon. Take it easy, everyone.